Welcome Rangers to the Snowflake Generative series by Type Groups. So in the Snowflake Generative series, we'll be looking under the so many functions like Cortex Analyst, Cortex Search, and so many other things. But everything they have given as a package, the GenAI package as Cortex AI, what they call it as Cortex AI. The best advantage in the Snowflake is, you know, the data never leaves the Snowflake, and that is very big advantage for when it comes to the security and governance. So we'll be dealing with only with the GenAI Cortex series, and we'll be trying to, you know, uh, we'll try to cover whatever required for the SnowPro Specialty GenAI certification as part of it. Uh, so if you see in this particular certification, they generally cover like 40% is in the like GenAI and LLM function. There are so many functions over there like cortex complete or something like sentiment analysis which you can do, and apart from that there is like 12% has been particularly for the document AI, which is very like, pretty simple, like whatever you have the contractual documents or something like you have any PDFs or something like you have any JPGs which you want to extract the text from it, or some tax invoices, you can extract the text in from that, and you can fill that into your structured table set so that you can apply some of the Gen AI concepts. But there is a catch here. So to give the certification, you need to have at least a Snowpro core certification prior to this. And the good thing is you need to at least use some of the Cortex analysis or Cortex complete something and their Cortex agent so that understand how they exactly function from their side. So we'll cover all this in the upcoming sessions. So this is an image I have taken from the Snowflake, which I like very much, because if you see right, uh, each layer is separate in the Snowflake. The best thing and everybody knows in the Snowflake is like each thing is separated. For suppose the data is separated, the compute is separated, then now the models are also separated. So if you see here, they have given like the latest feature OpenFlow. I'm planning to look into this OpenFlow because this is which is based on Apache 95, which is a great tool to get the data into the Snowflake. And your data resides in the Snowflake. On top of it, when it comes, so generally what exactly happens is, for suppose your data is unstructured, you will try to keep the Cortex search. If your data is a structured data, then you can utilize the Cortex analyst. When if you want to develop some kind of an agent which deals with both of this, you can use the Cortex agents. If you have some third party vendor which he wants to use your agentic applications, you can use the Snowflake intelligence, and you can just share him the URL, and he can use that, and he can ask simply like natural in his natural language, what is the sales in this forecast, or like what is the upcoming targets or something like that. He can directly text on the Snowflake intelligence applications. You don't need to develop anything. They've had developed everything. Just we need to enable this and share the URL with the vendor or your third party business. The other thing is like the Snowflake has tried to fetch all most of the models which are available from the biggest big LLM creators of the models like OpenAI's, Anthropy's, or Meta's, Mistral AI, DeepSeek. And Snowflake is also combining some of the models and getting the best of it out of it. Like they have some Cortex particularly text to SQL model which they are creating, combining some of 3 to 4 LLMs, so that they are doing it so that you can utilize those. Apart from that, if you have some model, you can fine tune your model so that each comes with a cost, right? For everything you don't need to have a bigger LLM model. You can have smaller LLM model and fine tune it in a fashion that it works as similar to as possible in the bigger LLM. Apart from that, the governance is there. For suppose you want to monitor how it is being used, and like you can also try to look into it, and you can also like check it out, like um, what exactly happens is like if you have some bad prompts, bad responses, you can also guardrail that. And apart from that, you can also keep some of the securities like RBAC control, role based access controls for that. The next good thing in the Snowflake is the cross-region interference. For suppose whenever we create a Snowflake account, we have been asked like which cloud provider do you need. So for suppose I have used a cloud provider like I have a cloud provider of AWS in the US region, but my LLM lies in somewhere else. For suppose my LLM lies in the India. So what exactly happens? My account is in US, but my LLM is in India. What is the next thing? Can I use that LLM? Here comes a cross-region interface. This is a parameter, account level parameter we need to set up so that if you set this account level parameter, what exactly happens is like Snowflake enables you to use that particular uh, account level. Snowflake allows you to, um, uh, with the help of when you specify this parameter cross-region interference as true, you can use wherever if it is in the similar cloud, like for if you have your LLM and your data residing in AWS, the cloud network itself will take care of the data and everything, data security and everything, and there will be no charges for the egress, and you can use that LLM by enabling the cross region interface. For suppose you might have a doubt, right? Your LLM is in AWS and your data lies in Azure. Then you need to know what happens is like, so data would be traveling through the public internet. That's one thing. One thing. The other thing is mostly Snowflake does not charge for the egress charges, and so in the upcoming videos we'll see what exactly is this. So for suppose what I dealt in the so in the previous PPT we saw all this Snowflake features. In this Snowflake AI features, for suppose there are LLM functions, right, which we discussed, like there are something like sentiment. If you want to analyze how is your customer sentiment, you can use the Snowflake.cortex.sentiment, which is now it is being moved to AI underscore sentiment, something like that. So apart from that, we have Snowflake Copilot, which will be like, help you to uh, write the queries when you are developing in a Snowflake environment itself. And apart from that, there is a document AI as specified, like, automatically if there are so many invoices, pages, or you can fetch the data into the structured data. Apart from that, there is Cortex Search and Cortex Analyst, which we said, right? So Cortex Analyst for the structured data, you can get the insights like what is the sales growth, uh, what is the sales growth, and for the Cortex Search is like if you might have so many HR documents, right? In that HR document, if you want some related like what is the particularly notice period for a employee, that kind of questions you can ask because it's like semantic search has been enabled on that things. So we'll deeper into this upcoming sessions. So just stay tuned, just subscribe and just comment it out if you think something is missing, or if you feel something is missing and we can include it in our future session. Thank you.